maybe they listen, but 9 times out of 10, man, if you pulling up on a camp like this, like Assad is pulling up, it don't go well. You know. Now, if you are invited, and it's invited, hey, you know, just pull up on us at this particular time. We're ready to talk about this particular subject. It may go a little better, but it's still. This is why I still feel like the videos is probably the best way to respond. And then you don't have to respond, because if we're really trying to do it with sincerity and trying to get to the truth of the matter, what's wrong with allowing somebody the time to research the matter out?
Reagan, this is a joke. It's a real joke. So let's go ahead and play this. I'm not going to mute it.
I repent right now. Can you show me? Can you show me how I'm wrong, though? That's all I'm asking. We've been showing you all week, but you ain't watching the videos.
And Hassan said, hey, man, you know, just show me where I'm wrong, man. You know, and I'll repent, I promise. Just have the talk with me. Just have the dialogue.
Video, bro. Why would I do that when I can talk to you, though, bro? We're going to keep going to this year after year.
And you know what? When I first heard the first couple of seconds of this video, I said, this guy's coming in the spirit of Vocab Malone. So you're going to have to call the cops on this guy. We're not going to, first of all, don't come around us. Don't F around us. Don't come around us, because we already gave you the answer. We're not going to give you no more answers. Okay, we're not going to have endless discussions and debates about this thing, because you can't see it. You can't see it because you're not one of the elect, as it stands.
In my opinion, once you say something like that, you already lost. When it comes down to, oh, you have to be the elect, or you have to have a certain spirit to get the understanding of this, to me you lost. Because then at the same time, it's something that you're saying something that people just can't control, and then you kind of isolating. It's almost like, you know, if Christians trying to explain the Trinity, and then, you know, they don't really have a lot of good verses to establish it, and they saying, well, you know, you ain't in the right spirit to understand it. You're like, well, wait a minute now. I'm in this. I'm just trying to see, you know, why that don't mean that. You know, to me, it didn't say that. You know, it said these two are one. Where the third one at? Where you get the third? Well, if you just don't see the third one, then you just ain't in the spirit. You know, like we can't operate like that.
Why can I ask a question about it, bro?
He sounded just like Vocab. I want to ask a question about it.
Come on, bro. I'm obviously not trying to be weird. I'm sitting here waiting to ask a question. You is weird. The video's already out there, bro. It's a question. Everybody's seen the video. The video's up. Right. Any questions to anything, you can go type in Great Millstone. Just say the third, and the video's gonna pop. Why would I type it when I can't get it? I can't get it. Go to the video, bro.
I remember all the times we used to say stuff like, man, you can't go to the church and ask your pastor no questions. And now we becoming like those pastors where nobody can ask us any questions.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors to you, brethren, fellow believers of this ministry, you supporters of the truth, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, I want to touch on this video that popped up. That's by this brother here, the Prince of Power. He does videos on various things in different camps. He has a controversial podcast, if you want to call it that. But he really does agree with Great Millstone, but then he agrees with other people. I'm just saying, and maybe that's the content that he's a content creator, I guess you want to call it that. So there's plenty comments on his channel against and for, and he just likes them all. So I'm not going to go into that. But there's a brother from GMS. I gotta read his comment. It's a couple brothers from GMS or that follow us that's getting on Hassad. Hassad is a young boy nerd or something like GMS Kawalaya. Running where? Y'all not on a level, right, to deal with. Y'all deal with each other. That's absolutely what I was saying. But I want to touch on this right here. This is some other translation of the Bible, GNBUK or something like that. This is another translation. You heard Hassad. I did go over that before, but there's something specifically that Hassad said. He said, "I love you, brothers. I'm not here for quarrels, and I just want to learn, right?" And he said, "I couldn't get it from GMS, so I'm coming to y'all, brothers." And the first thing would have come to my mind, and these brothers dealt with it, because when you out there, it's easy to say what you'll do sitting in a living room, right? But if you didn't get it from the apostles, and this is what this guy does, he feels he can only talk to top men. Everybody else isn't important. So he done catapulted himself on another level. And then when he didn't get the answer that he wanted, he feels he can go behind the back door and come into some other brothers who he think is not learned and could trip them up. Right. Well, let's read this and see if this fits this guy. Fopi does that too. "I love those brothers. We come in love. It's not hate." You guys are the bunch of phoniest hypocrites on the planet, man. Proverbs 23, 26 and 23. It says, "Sincere talk that hides what you're really thinking is like a fine glaze on a cheap clay pot," right? That's a good one, because you got a lot of knockoff things, right? Knockoff shoes, knockoff phones, and they look all good on the outside. As Yahushua is saying, you're like whited sepulchres, where you're clean on the outside, but inside full of dead men's bones in Matthew 23, right? So it says, a hypocrite hides hatred behind flattering words, right? That's what I might title it. A hypocrite hides hatred behind flattering words that they might sound fine, but don't believe him, because his heart is filled to the brim with hate. He may disguise his hatred, but everyone will see the evil things he does. People who set traps for others get caught themselves. You can read that in the book of Esther. I forgot who that was. Haman or something like that. Yeah, they set traps for themselves. Okay, there's more. It says, people who start landslides get crushed, right? So whatever energy you put out, that what you sow is what you shall reap, right? You have to hate someone to want to hurt him with lies. Insincere talk brings nothing but ruin. And this is exactly why, and we'll get to that in the next scripture, Lord's willing, this is edifying, and I'm not going to say he fully hates us, but the mindset, this is a translation, but it seems as though he has hate in his heart, or he has guile, he has hatred, he has jealousy. These guys are the ones that want to be on that level of the apostles, right? You have men in GMS that were like that, and some may still be. They only listen to them to gain advantage, but ultimately they want to be there, right? And that's why they bug out and they leave, and then the first people they talk about is the apostles. We seen this with those guys at the Boston camp that was in GMS. Quite a few of them. They all do that. Why? Because they're jealous of that position. You can't have the oil. It's whoever the Lord gave it to. I can't help it. None of us can help it. It's the Lord's show. Right? It's the Lord's show. Let's get this in the Holman Christian Standard Version Bible, 29 and Proverbs 29:1. One who becomes stiff-necked after many reprimands will be shattered instantly beyond recovery. Right? The rebukes over and over, and again, this guy gets kicked out of a rebellious camp in itself, and they don't want no parts of it because I don't hear them saying anything about it. This is also beautiful because everybody says, right, this is crazy. Everybody said, this is why we know Apostle Tahar is a spiritual man, and I'll say that. When he did what he did and said what he said about calling the police on Vocab Malone, I took it a little differently. I said, well, that's an option. All of us brothers take things different ways, but we understand the concept. And I was like, well, yeah, if you got to, do it. I probably wouldn't unless I have to, if it gets that far out of control and we're losing patience and we got a job to do. That goes for particular brothers that may need to do that, right? Some brothers will just ignore them, keep teaching, and just swat them like a fly. But then he said, do this to Hassad as well. So now you can see this is not so-called Christian based. But notice when Apostle Tahar said it about the Christian, all the videos flew up. It went crazy. People was just bugging out. But when he said that, even Sakari's followers said, yeah, this makes sense. A lot of these people, some of them are really sincere on these comment boards that's following these different camps. They're just following it carnally. And they really don't want the BS. They really want to see edification. They want to see what are we supposed to do, teach the Bible, right? Rebuke false doctrines if that's your thing, and try to get on a good foot. And if you rebuke these doctrines and we come back at you and you can't accept it, then that's just too bad. You can run down to the camp, you can do whatever. But when he said call the police on Assad, you didn't see nobody really say anything. So what does this prove? The Lord used Assad as in a spiritual way on the left-hand side to show the truth that we're not about playing games, whether it's vocab, whether it's another Hebrew Israelite. It has nothing to do with running from a Christian. And now you can see it's one of our very own fellow Hebrew Israelites. Okay. Anyway, one who becomes stiff-necked after many reprimands will be shattered instantly. So we look up this word reprimand, which goes back to reprove, correct. The original version say reprove, but then it goes to refute. And it says to prove wrong by argument or evidence show to be false or erroneous. So it's already been proven to be wrong. At least we believe that. Why would you continue to go back? And then this guy here, the Prince of Power, he says, this brother, he says, well, we always told not to ask the pastors questions. When you're dealing with a church and you're dealing with a body of a church, those people in that church are going to ask the pastor the questions, and that pastor will give him the answer. Just like if anybody in Great Millstone asks Apostle Tahar, or not just Apostle Tahar, any other apostles or bishops or elders or brethren, they ask them a question, we give them an answer. That's what that's going into. And if anybody comes up outside the doctrine and asks a question, we give them the answer. That's it. Would a pastor continue to keep giving the same answer over and over, even though you answered them? Who is foolish enough to stand around and keep giving the goddamn same answer? Who can be that foolish to do that? We'll continue. That word also goes to erroneous, which means containing and characterized by error or mistaken. Right? It says containing or characterized by error. So we get the point. So let's go to Matthew This is in the New Living Translation, Matthew 13:9. It says, that is why I have to use this translation so you will understand, right? It says, that is why I use these parables, right? This is Yahushua, the one you call Jesus, said to his disciples, right? For they look, but they don't really see. They hear, but they don't really listen to understand, right? Just listen closely. This fulfills the prophecy of Isaiah that says, when you hear what I say, you will not understand. When you see what I do, you will not comprehend, right? For the hearts of these people are hardened. So the Lord did it. There's nothing you can do. You can't. This is why we don't go up into the Christian church and try to wake them up. A lot of people don't consider the elect. Because if you think you could just wake everybody up, you're not concerned with the elect. We want to wake all Christian church up, wake all of our people up. The Lord never meant for all our people to be awakened. So if you understand that, why do we do what we do? Why is this people going to these churches debating, running up on people debating? It wasn't never meant to do that. Now, years ago, we would go question other Israelite camps on something and to try to spark them to get them to understand. But once they don't understand, that's it. It says, and their ears are hardened and they cannot hear. And they have closed eyes. They close their eyes so they cannot see. This goes back to Romans 11. The Lord hath given them a spirit of slumber. And their ears cannot hear, and their hearts cannot understand, and they cannot turn to me and let me heal them. That's what he's saying. This is what it says. But blessed are your eyes because they see. He's talking about his elect. And your ears because they hear. Clearly this man that's in this podcast, he don't truly understand the Bible. At least I don't think so. Or maybe he does, but this is more controversial, so he had to say what he said. But when you read this is what it says. It says, I tell you the truth. Many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but they didn't see it. And they long to hear what you hear, but they didn't hear it. So let me go back up. The ninth, I meant to read the ninth. I think I started like the 13th. But let's go to 9. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. His disciples came to him, why do you speak, use parables when you talk to these people? This is what he says. You are permitted to understand the secrets, talking about his disciples, of the kingdom of heaven, but others are not. This is clear. You would have had a bunch of Hasads coming up trying to ask questions, and the understanding wasn't there. It says, to those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given. This also proves when he said eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear. So they're trying to see, they're trying to hear, but they can't get it. Right? But others are not. To those who listen to my teachings, more understanding will be given, and they will have an abundance of knowledge. But for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. That is why I use these parables. Right? So there you have it. It's either the elect, you either understand or you don't. I can't understand why we gotten to the point that people drum up controversy, arguments over and over the same damn thing. It's kind of like people are in a lifestyle of maybe arguing with their woman over and over and over about the same damn thing. I mean, you would think that, wait a minute, we contended for the faith, we argued for the faith. Why we continue to go on and on and on? Why are you pulling out 1 Peter 3 and 15? We gave you the answer for the reason of our hope and humility and the fear. That goes to Ezekiel 3 and 17. If you warn the wicked, you got to warn them from their wicked way. And if you don't warn them, your blood is required. That's why that's there. But I'll be damned, man. This is why Yahushua in Matthew 10 and 5 said, Go not into any city of the Samaritans, enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But you know how people was there too. Well, why did he say that? Because enough is enough. Go reach the elect. Don't worry about everybody else. That's why the scriptures in 1 Corinthians 14 said, if a man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Meaning no debating. If you debate, if you argue for the faith or whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't go anywhere, why are we going down this road? Why are we going down the road? If your gas and electric gets shut off and they say you owe a $200 deposit to cut it on, and you say, no, I only owe $100, you see if your gas and electric going to get cut back on. I guarantee you it won't. That's all I have on that. Shalom.